Today we're going to talk about adding and subtracting fractions on the number line. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you have your I can statement in your table of contents, add and subtract fractions on a number line. Don't forget to put what page number. Okay, so I already pre-wrote this because it's a bit of a long one. I don't want to spend too much time writing this. You can pause the video as I talk about this to write your notes. So how do I add or subtract fractions on the number line? So this is how you're going to do it. We're going to write the value for each interval. Remember, intervals are like the spaces between each line, by counting the total number of intervals from 0 to 1. Let's do that one first. So from 0 to 1, let's make hills. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we had 12 hills, okay? So we've done the first one. Then it says this becomes the denominator. Oh, I see. So 12 is going to be my denominator. Use these fractions to think about how much is being added or subtracted to the starting number. So let's fill out this number line. Since I know that my denominator is going to be 12 every single time, so at each line, each interval is a 12th. Okay, now let's fill out our numerators. Well, if I'm at 0, that means my numerator is going to be 0 twelfths. There are none, absolutely none. What you're going to do then is you're going to add each line. So one interval of 12, one interval of 12. Now we've got 2 intervals from 0 to this line. Now from 0 to this line, we had 3 intervals out of 12. I'm sure you're seeing a pattern. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12 hills, intervals, to get to the one whole. Remember, when the numerator and denominator are the same, it means that it is one whole. Okay, so we filled out our number line. That's our practice there. So let's do some examples. All right, so the first one is 1/2 plus 1/3. So we've got to add these together. So what we're going to do is we're going to first make common denominators, because when you're adding fractions, remember your denominators have to be the same. So let's see. Let's do our hills to 1 and see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So our denominator has to be 12. So whatever we're adding together, it has to be in twelfths. Now, what did I do to 2 to get 12? Well, 2 times 6 equals 12. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 6 to get 12. That means I have to multiply 1 times 6. 1 times 6 is 6. So instead of 1/2, we now have 6 twelfths. 1/2 is the same as 6 twelfths. Half of 12 is 6, half of 2 is 1. So those are the same thing, just written differently. Let's do the same thing to 1/3. What did I do to 3 to get 12? 3 times 4 gives me 12. So 3 times 4, which means I also have to multiply my numerator by 4, because whatever you do to the denominator, you must do to the numerator. 1 times 4 is 4. So 1/3 is the same as 4 twelfths. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add them together. So 6 twelfths. So I'm going to find the 6 twelfths. Let's fill out our number line too. Let's make sure. So 0 twelfths, 1 twelfth, 2 twelfths, and keep going until you get there. And I'm gonna check when I finish to make sure that I have 0 at the right place, and if my numerator and denominator are the same at 1, then I'm good. 12 twelfths, that's right. So I did my spacing correctly. All right, so let's put a dot at our first number, just like we did in our adding and subtracting integers number line. So 6 twelfths, I'm gonna put a dot at 6 twelfths. This is where I'm starting. And now I'm going to go to the right because it's adding 4 twelfths. So what that's saying is from 0 to the 6 twelfths, now I'm going to add 4 twelfths to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is where I would end up adding my 4 twelfths. So my answer is 10 twelfths. I've done the 6 twelfths plus the 4 twelfths, and I've ended up at 10 twelfths. Now, I notice that both of these are even, which tells me that I can simplify them. I think I can divide both the numerator and denominator by the same number, which is what you have to do, same number. I can divide them both by 2. I definitely know that because they're both even. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So this is my final answer, 5/6, or 5 divided by 6. Remember, a fraction is the same as a division problem. So there we go. We've got 5/6 of the number line that we've added together. Let's try number 2. 3/4 minus 1/3. Oh man, I notice I do not have like denominators. So I am going to do that first. Let's do our hills and see how many we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Again, oh my goodness, they're making it simple for us. Okay, so let's fill out our number line again. Remember, as long as you're starting with 0 and adding 1 at each interval. Don't skip any numbers, and the way to tell if you skipped any numbers is at the end when you get to 1. If you notice that your numerator and denominator are not the same, then you need to go back and see where you might have made a mistake, because sometimes it gets confusing filling these out. Okay, so we're good. I've got 12 twelfths, so we're fine there. Okay, so we know our denominator is going to have to be 12 again. And now let's figure out what our numerator is going to be. So what did I do to 4 to get 12? I multiplied 4 by 3, which means I have to multiply my numerator by 3. So that's 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 3/4 is the same as 9 twelfths. Now I'm going to subtract my next one. What did I do to 3? What did I multiply it by to get 12? I multiplied it by 4. So 1 times 4 also, because whatever you do to the numerator and denominator has to be the same thing. 1 times 4 is 4. Remember, 1/3 is the same as 4 twelfths. Oh, and we already had that up there. We could have looked back to help us. Okay, now let's use our number line to draw a picture of what this looks like. So we are going to go 9 twelfths. So from 0 to the 9 twelfths. So I'm going to do, we went 9 twelfths. And now we're going to subtract. If you remember, when we subtract, we go backwards. So 9 twelfths, and I'm going to subtract 4 twelfths. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh, that's only 3. There we go. 4. And I got to there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right there at 5 twelfths. Now, 5 is a prime number, so I know that I am done simplifying. I can't do what I did up here and simplify it anymore because 5 cannot be simplified anymore. All right, so let's look at your practice problems. There is a little trick on here. The first 2 are pretty self-explanatory. Remember, you need to get your common denominators. Now, keep in mind, you are only going to the 1 to find, should circle the 1 there. You're only going to the 1. You're making your hills to the 1 to determine what your denominator should be. Remember, the 1 is way over here for these problems, but look, they're trying to trick us. The 1 is in the middle for all 3 of these problems, so only from 0 to 1, 0 to 1. That will help you find your denominator, okay? Then you can go ahead and do 0, whatever it is, 0 twelfths, 1 twelfth, 2 twelfths, blah, 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 and then you'll keep going. 12 twelfths, 13 twelfths, 14 twelfths, but this is not 12. So your denominator is going to be something completely different. It looks like it's going to be a lot smaller than 12, maybe 5 or 6 or 7, somewhere around there. So you count your hills and see what you get. Number 3, this is something new for us, but you've learned this before in previous years. These are mixed numbers. So for mixed numbers, you have to first turn them into improper fractions before you can do your problem. So again, you can make your hills, no worries, okay? But the way that you do this is you multiply the whole number with the denominator, and then you add the numerator. So 1 times 3, what's 1 times 3? Well, that's 3, plus 2. 3 plus 2 is 4. So, 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. Oh my goodness. So 5 is your new numerator and your denominator stays the same. Let's try that again. And then don't forget to bring over your subtraction sign. 1 times 6 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 6th. Because remember, your denominator stays the same. Now we've got a problem kind of like the other two. We need to find a common denominator. So again, make your hills to the 1 to determine what your new denominator for both your problems will be. And then just like we did in the practice, you're going to say, okay, well, what did I do to that number to get that? What did I do to this number to get that? And then you do the same thing to your numerator that you do to your denominator. So if 4 is on the denominator, 4 better be multiplied at the numerator also. All right, good luck with that.